Hi, I'm Frankie, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can make your Azure AI agents always respond with structured JSON. And you can set it up to respond with JSON in a couple different ways. Now, why is this helpful? There's definitely times where you create agents and they might be part of a workflow or the end of some sort of task where they need to send some sort of output that has to be structured. Maybe they're going to take some sort of output and it's going to go towards some sort of API endpoint that needs to take structured data, sometimes in JSON format, which is a very common structured format for API calls. So when you want to set this up, how can you tell a large language model that usually always takes input and output tokens and just responds with pure text? Well, with this feature in Microsoft Foundry, I'm going to show you how you can set it up so that it always responds with JSON. And when you set this up in the Foundry portal, you'll always have that structured JSON you need for whatever you're going to do next. Let's dive into the portal. I'm in the Microsoft Foundry portal. You can get to this by going to ai.azure.com. I'll go up to the Build tab where my agents exist. I have 3 agents that we're going to go over. There's the text output agent, the JSON schema agent, and the JSON object agent. Let's start with the text output agent. The core feature for all of these is going to be found up here in the parameters for when you're selecting the model. All these agents are the same except for one thing. When I click parameters, there's this text format. That text format is deciding how you want output to come for that agent. So the structure options are just text, which is the default, which means your agent can always respond in any form you want with, whether it's text, JSON if you specify, some other format or code if you have the instructions for that, or you just give it that prompt. JSON's output is where we're going to specify that you always want JSON to come back, but you don't have a super strict structure that you require it to come back as. It just always must come back as JSON. And so that could be interesting if you want to have an agent that could give you outputs that are going to be different depending on the types of API calls that are going to be made after from that agent. And then finally, JSON schema. This is going to be where you have a structured schema you give your agent, and it's only going to respond that one way. Let's see how these all work. All of my agents are just helpful email agents. They all have the same instructions. And so I'm going to give it a prompt, which just says, I want to send an email to Mason Stark with the subject, happy birthday, and the body, I'm so glad we're friends, and happy birthday. And I'm going to say, give it to me in JSON. So this text output agent, I'm telling it to give it to me in JSON. So hopefully it does. Let's see this work. I'll send this message and I'll see the output that comes back. I see here is the email in JSON format, which that is not JSON. So this is something to keep in mind in the text, right? I have what's called prose, or it's just the text before the JSON. So if my agent is going to send email specifically something, this is where I need to guide the agent in the agent instructions or my prompt. Because again, when you are using an agent, the prompt is just going to be the first part of context. You don't actually have to have a set of instructions if you give it everything you need in the prompt. Instructions just makes it easy so that your agent, you don't have to keep telling it what to do every single time you use it. So in the prompt, I tell it to give it to me in JSON. It still doesn't do full JSON. It does text and then JSON, which could be confusing for wherever I want the output to go after for some sort of workflow or other deterministic task that will take after this. So if I'd want it to not have any JSON, I might guide it and say, don't have any prose, only output JSON. Or I could use one of these other features. So if I just say thank you to this, thank you. After it gave me the JSON, I just say thank you. It comes back also just giving me text, right? This is just text that the agent is going to respond. You're welcome. If you need anything else, ask. So that is the text output agent. So it's just how all agents by default work. The next level is the JSON object agent. So if I give this same prompt, now it has this JSON object setting in it. and it's going to give me this JSON output. And see, the JSON is structured a little bit differently. And actually the agent, when you choose JSON object as the setting, you don't specify the structure. And so the structure could come however you need. Now you can guide it with your agent instructions to specify, if this is a task related to customer support, I want you to always output this JSON structure. And you could put the JSON structure within the instructions if you want. If it's for sales, always have this JSON structure. So you can guide it if you want specific structures, but if you want one specific structure, that is for the next one. So if I were to say thank you to this, thank you, the JSON object should always respond. Oh, let's see. It looked like it did not work that time. All right, let's refresh this and try it again. We'll give it our original prompt. Then we'll say thank you. And see, we got a response back in JSON because, again, it only can respond in JSON. We're using the JSON object output setting for the text format. And it responded, "You're welcome," all in JSON. So this is an example. These are two different structures that it can come back with, two different structures of JSON. And the first time we ran this, if you'll remember, there was this to subject and body was wrapped in an email object before. It's not wrapped in an email object this time. And that's just the agent changing the way its structure is working. So now the final text output is the JSON schema. So we have the JSON schema as our text output. And for this, we do have a specific JSON structure that we had set up. So you can grab this in here. If you also want to get this, you can get a link to this specific JSON structure in the Azure Innovation Station online community for free. It's going to be in a zip file associated with this video if you join. But all this is doing is specifying, I always want it to get back an email to an email subject and the email body. There is no flexibility. So it always must give me that. So if I ask it that same thing, that same prompt, it's always going to give me this structure. So see what happens if I say thank you. It's not going to know what to do. And it might just give me the exact same response back. And it does, right? Because it can only give me information back. Now, I do have some flexibility. I could say, actually send this to Adam Stark. And now it gives me the information back with Adam Stark. That's how you can make sure your Azure AI agents always respond using JSON. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I answer every comment to help as many people as I can. If this video was helpful for you, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. And as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.